Welcome to Triple Option Radio. I'm Matt Sullivan alongside Jack Abbott, Rhett Prentice, and we have a special guest today, Jacob Donnelly. Today we have a special Super Bowl edition. Guys, we're talking Patriots, Giants this Sunday, Super Bowl matchup. What are your guys' initial thoughts on this one?
Well, I think if you watch, there's a huge difference between how the national media is covering this and how the local Boston media is covering it. In that the national media largely thinks the Giants, A, should be favored, and B, are in fact going to sweep the Patriots and just obliterate them. Whereas the local media understands that it's going to be a much tighter game, and the Patriots do have a better team than they're getting credit for. They're getting Sebastian Vollmer back this week, which is going to give them a lot of flexibility and a lot of help against that vaunted Giants D-line. The offense is also... It's going to get back on track. Brady's going to play better, and the defense, if they can continue how they played against the Ravens, they should be in control most of this game.
No, I agree. Sebastian Vollmer is going to be interesting. I think that might be one of the key points in this game is how well the Patriots' offensive line play. You know, Brady last weekend had a shaky game, and I don't necessarily blame it on the offensive line, but I think the offensive line is kind of where I stand with this game as being a key factor in this one.
Yeah, I see this one going back and forth the entire day. You know, nobody's going to be able to get ahead by too much because for every strength that one team has, the other team has another strength that they can answer with that is better than their opponents. So I see this one just going back and forth like 7-7, 14-10, 17-14, and it's going to come down to some late, but there's no way one team gets way ahead by more than 7 points into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I agree. Did you guys happen to see the Madden simulation yet?
No, I haven't watched Giants.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was Giants 27, Patriots 24. So they have a field goal game prediction in there.
Generally,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be that one, 27-24 or something like that, one way or another.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I'm the only person in America that doesn't believe that this game is going to be close. Really, I don't see how the Giants stack up against the Patriots, whereas the only reason that the Patriots really lost the Super Bowl in 2007 was because the Patriots' offense was predicated on a long ball to Moss.
Right.
No one can get to Brady right now. The offensive line is playing better than anyone is giving them credit for. They're getting Vollmer back in, and then you can put Solder at the guard. You can put Waters in. They can put in Cannon. The Patriots can go to any offensive formation and just run it down the Giants' throat. Their defense is predicated on their defensive line, the 4 guys getting into the backfield. I just don't see that happening. And elite quarterback, I don't see him playing well.
See, I think this is exactly how the game's going to start. The Patriots, whenever they get the first possession, they'll probably defer and kick first. But whenever they get the ball, they're going to go in there and they're going to run their standard offense. I think as soon as the Giants substitute those 4 defensive linemen in, the Patriots bolt it and go no huddle. And I think they wait, they let the Giants play whatever they want first, and then when they go in there, they lock those guys on the field. If they get those guys tired early, get them banged around, they can effectively run the ball with Ben Jarvis. And Jake, you didn't say it, but Solder can outplay tight end. So if the Gronk injury kind of comes back, we have that extra blocking at least. But even if Gronk plays, then you have 2 tight ends that are really like 2 tackles. And I think they're just going to move down the field, and then when they have to, throw the ball. And Jake, you said it, their game is not the long ball anymore. It's those short passes. The offensive line does not have to hold these guys up as long, which will benefit them. All those clips you look at of Brady getting sacked, he's dropping 7 steps, pump fake, stepping up. It's not like that anymore. It's much more 5-step to 3-step drops, get the ball out, and let your receivers do work with the ball after the catch.
I agree. I think one thing that kind of scares me about this game, and I think the Giants, this is the way that they win. I think Eli is going to be throwing the long ball, and if he's looking for those pass interference, if he's trying to get that flag and he gets them, Pats don't stand a chance in this game. I honestly feel that way.
All the time.
And I think that's what Eli relies on most of the time.
Yeah.
Is something like that. So that's a big factor is if the Patriots secondary can take care of that, have good coverage deep down the field, and, I think if they give up the short passes, they'll be all right. It's just they can't give up that deep ball. They can't let Victor Cruz get behind the secondary. They're going to get
the big problem is they got to avoid letting those. I mean, with the Giants, their long touchdowns aren't always deep balls. They're 12-yard digs that both Nix and Cruz are great making one move and breaking the guy's ankles and going 40 yards more down the field.
That's true.
I think that's what the Pats really need to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But the Patriots defense has done a terrific job in the last couple of weeks, especially with the addition of Chung and Spikes. They're terrific tacklers. They've been making tackles outside, of course.
The last 2 offenses they've faced have not been at the caliber of the Giants. Not even close.
Yeah, but the Giants still got beat 7 times this year. That means,
True.
I mean, that
We
means they
lost to
couldn't
Vince
keep
Young,
up.
man. That's a rare feat.
You know,
Right.
the defense outside of those front 4 guys and Michael Boley is not as great as they make you think. I mean, that front 4 is responsible for a lot of the pressure and turnovers that they've gotten and bad throws and whatnot. I think they haven't run into an offense as hot as the Patriots can be. And last week was a little blip. I think the rest of the team played well. Brady just failed to execute, and I think the defense carries it over. What do you guys make of the Giants' offense? I mean, they have the playmakers, but you think they can run up against the Pats the way they've been playing?
You know, it's going to be interesting because when we look back to when the Giants played Pats in the regular season, they didn't have, a couple of main guys. They didn't have Bradshaw. They didn't have Hakeem Nicks. I mean, those are some huge playmakers that are going to be, not only in this game, but, 100% healthy. So I think it starts up front. If Will Fork has the game he had last weekend, they're going to have a difficult time running the ball. They're going to have to rely on the pass. And, I mean, Eli's been there all season with the pass, but I think the Pats defense can step up in this game. Absolutely.
One thing I've said this before. I said, the one thing with the Giants' offense is no matter how many times you put them down, they're still able to come right back at you the next play,
Right.
which is a credit to Eli and a credit to those receivers. So the Pats defense is going to have to be added every single down. It takes one blown coverage for this game to change right away.
But this is where I'm getting confused with the coverage on this game. What is this vaunted Giants defense? They do exactly what the Patriots defense allows offenses to do. The Giants offense racks up yards. They don't exactly rack up points. They scored 20 points last week against the 49ers, and 10 points was off of special teams. They had a 35-yard field on both occasions.
Yeah, that's against really good team in the pouring rain. You got to give San Francisco.
Right, which slowed down the San Francisco D. I feel that game is done. If that game is played in good weather, the 49ers defense has an even bigger field day. And the thing that a lot of people forget about is Manning dropped back 65 times that game, and you could see the offensive line for the Giants were just worn down by the fourth quarter. They racked up 4 sacks in the fourth quarter alone. And all of a sudden, Rob Ninkovich is looking like a modern-day Vrabel coming off of the corner against the Ravens and the Broncos. I really feel that this game is playing into the Patriots' hands because I feel like I'm not watching the same team that I see as this juggernaut that the media is making out the Giants to be.
Yeah. Well, again, the Broncos and the Ravens are not the Giants. I feel like the Patriots have had the easiest road into this thing. They've had easy teams. Not only is the end of the season easy, where we had Miami, Buffalo. There's some really cupcake offenses in there, and all of a sudden we get Tim Tebow, who is debatable quarterback in the NFL as is, and then the Ravens. I mean, that's the strongest matchup. I think the Giants team. We haven't faced a team like this probably since we faced the Giants in the regular season. It's been probably 8 weeks since the Pats have seen something like this.
Yeah, but so they can't control who they have to play, and their job is to just go out there and beat everybody that they face and that's put in front of them. And if you look at that last Giants game, the Patriots have obviously not lost since. So it depends where you go from that point on. The Giants, I don't think, had many losses after that point either. But I think these two teams, I mean, you can't do anything about the competition in the playoffs. The Broncos had a good play against the Steelers and took it to the game against the Pats at home, and you can't do anything about it. So you just have to go out there and just kind of and play the cards you're dealt. And I feel like they still stack up though, because it's not like they're getting lucky against these teams. I mean, the Ravens, yes, but I feel like they played their way through that game as a formidable opponent, and I think they get a little, or should get a little more credit than their schedule gives them.
I agree.
Sure. I think people are high on the Giants because they beat the Packers so convincingly and the Falcons so convincingly. Those are two quarterbacks in Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers that people have a lot of respect for. I think it was the Rodgers thing definitely because their pass rush. They made Rodgers play tentatively, and
They were rusty.
pass rush
They were
rather
rusty.
than what was happening down the field. Now,
They were rusty.
Yeah.
A lot of
true,
drop
too. I
passes.
mean, you could see Aaron Rodgers got worse in that game as the pressure got built on him. And it'll be up to Brady to not let that phase him, and I think he can do that. But that's going to be a factor there.
I agree. What do you guys think? What's your one main thing in this game? Like, what's the deciding factor in this game? Which player or which side of the ball do you think is going to change the outcome of this game?
Jake, why don't you go first?
I think we saw a little bit of it last week with Vince Wilfork pretty much dominating the entire offensive line of the Ravens. It didn't matter who they threw in front of him or where Wilfork was lined up. Wilfork really was the one that was in charge of that game. I think
Right.
Wilfork's going to have a tremendous game. And then the last matchup between the Patriots and Giants, the Giants actually moved David Deal, their left tackle, out to left guard in order to alleviate Vince Wilfork's rush on the center. You might see Deal do that again, but if you do, I've already mentioned it before, Ninkovich has all of a sudden found a really effective pass rush. He's going a little bit of a speed rush, he's ducking his shoulder, and all of a sudden he's been living in the backfield. So I think it's actually going to be the Patriots' defensive line against the Giants' offensive line, specifically Wilfork versus David Deal.
Mm-hmm. What else do you think? Rhett, Jack, what's your deciding
I'm
factor?
going out on a limb here. Matthew Slater. You know,
Wow.
I mean, the way these games have been played out and the way I think this game is going to go, it's going to be some kind of ridiculous play that's just going to, reflect that David Tyree catch. And, Matthew Slater was named a Pro Bowl starter on special teams.
Yeah.
And he's the kind of guy who can force a fumble on a punt return or catch a tip pass that's going for Aaron Hernandez that bounces behind him and he picks up and runs 30 yards for a touchdown late. I mean, it's going to be I just have a feeling something weird like that's going to happen. And if it's going to happen, it's going to happen for the Patriots. It's going to happen for Matthew Slater.
That's interesting. I like that prediction. Jack?
I like that, Red. It's creative. I think it's going to come down to the secondaries for both of these teams, specifically the Patriots secondary against the Giants receivers. We already talked about the tackling aspect. I think both these teams like to throw the ball. The running attacks will probably negate themselves to some effect. I don't see either team really running up and down the field. I think maybe a touchdown or at most from either side on the ground. But I think, if the Giants secondary can step up, they can really create havoc for Tom Brady too. So I think that's really where the game's going to be dictated, is how the team defends the pass. Player to watch for, I don't know, anyone in the Pats secondary, because it's been a different guy every week.
Yeah.
Any of them. I think Chung's going to be huge. I always think he's going to be huge. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the deciding factor is the Pats O-line. If Tom Brady has enough time, he's going to have the game of his life. I honestly think so. Especially after last week's. Brady doesn't have back-to-back games like that. I mean, he has in the past here and there, but I can't see it on this big of a stage, him kind of messing up. So I think if Brady has time, offensive line, Nate Solder, Vollmer, it's going to be interesting to see what the right side of the line does. Mankins is going to have the game of his life. I think, if they get time, Pats take this thing. My prediction is 31. I'm going to go 27. 31-27, Pats. But if Brady doesn't have enough time, one touchdown less, it's going to be 27-24 Giants. So that's my hit or miss right there with that. So, guys, predictions, you think that 2.5 point spread, 3 point spread with the Pats, any chance of them covering that or just pushing with that?
I have a big feeling it's going to be a push. I see it going kind of 23-20, 24-20. So I mean, I hesitate to pick them to cover, but I would say they probably do win on a 3 point spread and push it. But I have them 23-20.
23-20. Jack?
I have it. I think they're definitely, to be clear for the record, they're going to cover and win the Patriots. Obviously cover and win. And I think it's going to be somewhere in the 21-14, 27-20 area. I think it's going to be really low scoring. These defenses catch a lot of flack for giving up yards, but I really think they need to revamp the statistical system and what they place emphasis on, because how are the two worst defenses in the league in the Super Bowl? And I think it needs to go on points, and they don't allow points. So I think the scoring is going to be down. I'll go 21-14. Patriots.
Jake, we'll give you the final thought.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one, but 31-17 Patriots. I see the Patriots dominating possession of the ball. I see the Giants' offensive line not being able to get into the backfield. I see Eli Manning actually having the 7 interceptions he throws a game, 3 of them being caught. I just really think that the Giants are being overrated into this game, especially with discussion about Eli Manning being an elite quarterback. He's on a 7-1 postseason streak because he's only been to the playoffs 2 times in the last 5 years. I think that this Patriots team has really got the Giants number. They've lost the last 2 times they played, But I really think the Patriots are. I really think the Patriots are ready for this one.
Well, I hope you're right, as a Pats fan. And thanks everyone for watching. Please leave comments, suggestions. Check us out at tripleoptionradio.com and check out for new material soon. Thanks and enjoy the game.